Hi everyone, in this video I'll walk you through a simulation of a simplified neuron model designed to mimic motor planning and habit formation in the brain. The neuron we are modeling is a threshold-based unit. It decides whether to initiate movement based on the strength of incoming signals. These signals come from two sources: cue inputs like environmental triggers and reward inputs, which represent reinforcement or motivation. Let's look at the first plot. Here we see four key variables. First one is cue input with blue color. These are external signals that become more frequent over time, simulating how habits form through repeated exposure. The next one is reward input with red color. This represents motivational reinforcement, also increasing gradually but at a slower rate. The next one is threshold with orange color. This is the activation level the neuron must exceed to fire. It starts low and rises over time, simulating fatigue and inhibitory control. And the last one is movement output with green color. This shows when the neuron fires, meaning movement is initiated. Now notice some interesting threshold remains flat until around trial 24, and then it starts to rise. That's because the neuron only increases its threshold when it fires. Early on, the combined cue and the reward inputs are not strong enough to trigger movement, so the threshold stays unchanged. Once input grows stronger and movement begins, the threshold increases to make future action harder, just like how repeated actions become harder to initiate without stronger motivation. Also, you will see that cue, reward, and movement outputs never exceed the value of 1. That's intentional. These are binary signals, either the cue is present or not, the reward is given or not, and movement happens or doesn't. This keeps the model simple and focused on behavior patterns rather than intensity. In the second plot, we compare action level with a black color and with the threshold with the orange color. When the black line crosses the orange line, the neuron fires, shown by the green movement output. Early in the simulation, action rarely crosses the threshold, but as cue and reward weights go up through habit learning, activation increases and movement becomes more frequent. To test the model, we can tweak parameters like learning rate or cue frequency. For example, increasing the cue learning rate makes the neuron fire more often from cues alone, simulating how habits can form even without rewards. So you can see some changes when you run multiple times on the graphs here, as you can see. So in summary, this model shows how a simple neuron can learn to initiate movement based on repeated cues and reinforcement, and how thresholds adapt over time to regulate behavior. It's a powerful way to visualize habit formation and motor planning in the brain. Thanks for watching.